I'm Sara Rutten. I'm from the Eagle team. I've been an official agent just a little over 3 years, not quite a year in a team lead from leading a team, but I've been involved in real estate since I was 18. It's not my first house. My husband and I buy and flip houses and own investment properties.
Awesome.
I'm Aaron Eisenbery. I got here just in time, I guess.
You did. You just
Yeah.
like you were holding off. Just so it was
Right.
perfect timing for you.
9th or 10th year, I lost track. Selling real estate. Started at Cobalt, came over to KW, and I just got salesperson of the year, sold agent of the year in the Lake's office.
Awesome. Congratulations. Like brand new news.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice work.
Yeah, I'm no Michael Kaslow.
In
Hi.
training. You're Michael Kaslow in training.
There's only one.
Yeah, if you don't want to. My name is Michael Kaslow, and I am with the office in town. I opened up a mega agent office last year, and have that office up and running and having a good time with it. I've got a team. I'm the listing agent, and we've got a team of 4 full-time buyers agents. 3 of them are here. And then we've got a full-time production staff. We call them our production staff. It's our director of operations. Last year, we closed just under 60 million and 159 units. And this year, our goal is 212 units. And here we go.
Hey.
I've been doing this for
Nice
15
work.
years. Started out at Dayna Realty, actually at the office right across the street from where I opened up one. So sometimes I think they're waving to me, but the whole hand isn't open. But actually, the office, the reason I'm there is because that's where I live and work in most of our business there. So I was looking at good walking traffic and a good parking lot, and just happy.
A lot of the originals aren't at that office.
Actually, so many of them.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
okay. Wow, interesting. Dayna, are you on? Is she on? Okay, so Dayna may or may not be on. She is currently in the mountains and they lost electricity about 25 minutes ago or so. So if she pops on, awesome. If not, you guys are gonna do awesome.
She just texted me and said she doesn't have a link for the script doc. Dayna did. We need to get her a link.
We can definitely do that. That would be fantastic.
Sorry to check my phone.
Okay, so I didn't give you guys a lot of prep. I gave you a little bit. So part of it is going to be me asking you questions, seeing what your objections are. I'll be the seller. And then the other ones are, you guys are in the business, right? You're doing a lot of listings. You're getting a lot of objections right now. Something that I may not have thought about, say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with and this is what I came up with will be the other portion. And then we have these lovely guests that I told them they could hammer you with whatever objections they've had, and they'll be the seller and you get to be the listing agent. So who wants to start?
Michael does.
Michael, okay. All right. So Michael, we're sitting at our listing appointment and I'm just super overwhelmed. I got, 2 kids, I'm pregnant, and I just don't know if I want to sell.
Yeah, Kamie, I actually hear that from sellers just like you all the time. And even if you didn't have all of these things going on, it is not an easy market to decide that you want to put your house on the market and you're also going to be buying a home.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, yes.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
a lot. So we're working with people like you every single day. And actually, as a seller, there is no better time to be going on the market, especially if you have all of these things going on in your life. And actually, that's why working with a team like mine is actually a perfect fit for you, because we're going to make sure that everything gets done for you so that you don't have, we're going to take as many to-dos off your plate as possible, because you probably are thinking about, I have so much work to do to get my house ready. How am I going to show the homes with the kids and the dogs, my job and school? And 1 week they're at home, 1 week they're not. Is that kind of how you're feeling?
And I'm tired. I'm just really tired, and there's toys everywhere and drawings on the walls and just tired.
So is there any, outside of you being tired, is there any other fear or objection to selling a home? Because it sounds like you want to sell it. Is that true?
Yeah, we need a bigger house, right? We need a bigger house. And we know it's gonna have to happen, whether it's before babies due or after babies due it's a whole nother story. But I don't know how I'm gonna keep the house clean during showings.
What does it look like to you if you are bringing your new baby home to the next home that you picture in your mind? What does that look like for you? How does it feel?
Oh, she'll have her own bedroom and we can probably paint it, probably not pink. I'm not really a pink fan, but maybe blue. Yeah. Little elephants on the wall.
So what would it look like to you if you knew that you were going on the market without actually having to officially go on the market, and that you didn't have to keep your house spotless, and I was going to introduce buyers to your home that understood that they were getting the opportunity and the privilege to see your home before the rest of the market? And with that, they understand that your home is not going to be spotless, it's not going to be staged, but they're getting the opportunity to see it before everybody else.
I guess I never really thought about that.
That's working out really well for a lot of our clients right now. And the good news to you is that these folks that we're bringing in pre-market, they're not just looking. They're not nosy neighbors. They're not kicking the tires. In order for them to get through your front door, we're saying to them, look, you need to be an A buyer, which means that you must buy a home in the next 30 to 45 days. You must be fully pre-approved, not just a credit check, but fully underwritten pre-approval needs to be done. You need to drive by the neighborhood. You need to look at the exterior of the home in the neighborhood and still be super excited about the house. We're going to give you some information and some photos just to kind of give you an idea of what the inside looks like. And if you still are excited about the opportunity to come in and make an offer that gives our sellers the incentive to not go on the market, you're welcome to come in here and take a look. How does that sound to you?
I mean, that sounds wonderful. Will I get as much for the house if I do that? I mean, if it's not painted and will I get as much money for it? Because I've had other agents, I'm not gonna lie, that it has to be in showing condition to get the right amount for the house or the highest amount. So that just seems like I might not get as much.
Well, and that is why you need to be working, and you deserve to be working with a realtor like me, because the marketing and the pricing strategy, even if we're doing pre-market listings and getting pre-market buyers to come into your home, we still have to have a really solid strategy to make sure you're getting top dollar for your home. So the nice thing about this is that when a buyer comes in, they understand that you are going on the market. And what they need to do is make an offer. If they love your home and they want to win, they understand that they've got to give you an offer that's even better than
So maybe this is a trick question, but how do you know what that is? My friend just sold, and someone offered, I don't know, 75,000 over asking price. So how do you know that that's the offer that they give me is going to be the best one?
Yeah, there isn't any way to know exactly this. You are working with a realtor who is experienced, has a really good understanding of what your home demands in this market. You can rest assured that you're going to come pretty darn close to where you want to be. I'm curious, how much do you think your house is worth?
Well, I would say at least, 850,000.
So if you think your house is worth 850,000, and in this market, we decided to put it on the market for 875,000, based on market analysis, and understanding that sellers are for their home and the buyers are willing to pay. Does it sound like if someone came in and said, hey, I'd like to write you an offer for $925, I'm going to waive the appraisal, or I'm going to give you an appraisal guarantee that says if your home is appraised at 875, we're going to bring in the cash. We may decide that we want to have an inspection. It's going to be a 3-day inspection, and we're also going to provide you with a $10,000 inspection guarantee. That if anything comes up in inspection for $10,000, we as buyers to take that on yourself. So if you were provided an offer that looked like that, you'd be pretty excited about that.
I'm ready.
I'm ready too. I love this home. I know that there are so many buyers who are under contract with realtors right now, looking at the neighborhood at this price point, and we don't have another day there. So I would love to make this official. I would love to sign our contract.
Sounds perfect. Nice job.
Can I just make a motion? We just listen to Michael. All in favor?
So I want to go down the line though. So there were a few things that came up in that, right? So I'm sure you guys have done the how will I know, right, what I'm going to get. What other objection handlers do any of you use for that? Or who wants to take a stab at another portion of that?
Dayna is also on that.
Oh, perfect.
Hi, Dayna.
Hi guys, can you hear me?
We can.
Hear us?
Okay, perfect.
Welcome, Dayna.
Hear us?
Yes.
Talk louder.
So what I say is, I understand there's risk of not going on the market, which you may or may not want to do. Understand that any offer we get, we all know that that offer has to be strong enough for us to forego possibly going on the market. And I'm going to be right up front with that buyer's agent to let them know that, it needs to be strong enough, otherwise don't even bother writing.
Okay. Anybody else?
I would have taken that in a different direction.
Let's do it.
So I would say, do you have the ability to buy on the front end?
Yeah, we do.
So I think what I'd recommend on this is it's going to be so much easier to have showings in there, and getting top dollar is most important to you. Then it would be so much easier with 3 kids or 2.5 kids or 2 kids.
Two full kids, 1 on the way,
Right.
not a half kid.
It might make the most sense for us, or for you, to look first, find that perfect next house. And if you have the ability to buy first, then make that move. You can stay in your house as long as you need to get the next house where you want it to be before the little one comes, and then move into that house and then get your house perfect. And my team, I've got contractors and vendors that I work with that will get your house looking where it needs to be. You just move out. We will do everything. You don't need to worry about cleaning. We'll clean it. We'll do the projects. You just, tell us when it's too much.
So my fear with that, Erin, is what if we don't get what we want for the house and now I've purchased and it doesn't sell? Because, we can definitely buy prior to, but the stress level, having the baby, as well as carrying 2 homes. I mean, we're planning on, buying at about 1.4. So, a little over 2 million houses to hold for more than 2-3 months will cause a pretty intense stress to our family.
In a market like this, you've got the best chance that's not going to happen, especially if you price it and prepare it right. You're not missing anybody in a market like this. There are so many eyeballs on the MLS that if you do the right things to repair your house, you price it right, prepare it right, it'll sell. And be able to figure out what's the price that we want to get, what we think we maybe could get, and what price would be like the least that we would accept if we in a worst case scenario. But to make sure that that's not going to happen, and in a more balanced market or offer seller's market, that would be, I think, a real concern. But in a market like this right now, I think if I were in your shoes, I wouldn't worry too much about that.
I agree with Erin. I think that approach is smart for some folks, but I'm coming from the perspective of a listing agent, right? And I've been invited into their home to talk about getting their home sold. And yes, they are going to buy another home, and that's great. We're going to figure all that out. But my main objective is to get the listing contract signed. And as soon as we get the listing contract signed, then we're going to do the market analysis next sheet. And then we're going to start looking at what kind of equity they have in their home. And then talk about, because you have this kind of equity, and if you're willing to do it, I think that your ability to buy a home first and be able to do that, or take out a bridge loan and do that makes more sense than the plan that we have right now. But I think from a listing agent perspective, what I'm doing is I'm going in there with the objective to do what I need to do to make them feel safe to sign with me. And then once we've done that, then we can start talking about other avenues for them to be as successful as they can.
Kamie,
Yeah.
it's Dayna. I
Hi, Dayna.
apologize. I didn't hear the very first part of this because of technology. What I didn't hear was anyone asking you, what's really important to you and your family? And maybe you guys asked that at the beginning before I got on. So Kamie, let me ask you this. Is the most money important to you? Because it sounds like you're buying a pretty expensive home, or the next one's going to be a bigger home. Or is less stress important to you?
You know, honestly, right now, you know, that might change in 3 months for me, but right now it would be less stress. That's definitely lowering the stress level is the #1 priority for our family currently.
Okay, fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. That helps me know where I need to go with you and how we can get your home sold with the least stress possible. So we kind of have two options here. One is you can get your home sold first. You won't have that worry, whatever. Or you can buy a home first and we can worry about your house later. Which one would be less stress to you?
Well, Dayna, this actually brings up a good point. I'm really nervous about not finding the right house right now. I mean, everyone talks about inventory being low, so it's great to sell. But I'm really nervous that we're going to sell our house and all of a sudden I'm going to have nowhere to go and I'm going to have this baby and stay at a, you know, extended stay at the Holiday Inn or something.
Yeah, that could be a little bit stressful, but I guarantee you the baby will never remember that, just you will. So what if I hear what you're saying is, help me understand, you would like to buy a house first, and then we'll worry about getting your home sold after that. So you're settled in the house, the baby's in the baby's room, you don't have to deal with people coming in your home, keeping the house clean with a new baby in between feedings and sleeping and everything else. Am I hearing what you're saying?
You just made me think that, yes, that's actually what I want.
Okay, fantastic. Well, let's get the contract signed right now so I can start pre-marketing your house in the background. Now, sometimes it's possible that we can get your home sold without any showings whatsoever, and we can talk about that later. But let's get this paperwork done. Then we're going to go ahead and talk about what you want to start looking for, and we're going to go find you a house. We're worried about this. I'm not worried about selling your house at all. That's what I do. So I'm not worried about that at all. You ready to get going?
I am.
Perfect. Signed hard.
Dayna?
Yeah.
So that also brought up another objection, right? So Dayna handled that objection. I know that a lot of people right now are getting that, right? On the sell side, I don't have a place to go. Who wants to tackle that on a different way than Dayna did? Or maybe it's similar.
I will.
Michael will.
So the scenario then is that you want to sell your home and you would like to find a home first before selling, but there's just nothing out there.
Yeah, I mean, previously, right, we found a house and then we sold our house. The other time it was, you know, we kind of found them at the same time. Right now, where we're looking, I mean, there's nothing available and new construction is going to take another, you know, 6 to 12 months. That would be ideal. However, we don't have time for that.
Amy, I think in a perfect world, people think that they put their house in the market, they get an offer, their offer's accepted, then they go out, they find their home, their offer's accepted, and everything happens on the same day, and they get to sell and move. And we're finding that right now that scenario is very and it's not that it can't be done, but it is difficult. And so one thing that's working really well for our clients right now is putting their house on the market, getting it sold with the contingency that the sellers now get to go out and find the home of their choice. So instead of you having a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day deadline, we are communicating to buyers that the winning offer is not only just going to have the highest price and the easiest path to closing, but it's also that buyer that has the ultimate flexibility. Does that sound like a good plan?
Yeah, and we get to negotiate that portion of it then. I mean, I get to kind of pick that time frame
We
or,
do. So, and that's what we're communicating to buyers is that if you want to be the winner of the offers that come in on this home, what's important to the seller is that there's the ultimate flexibility so you can go out and find a home of your choice.
I think that, that seems a lot less stressful for me.
Another option for clients is, and this has been working out really well for a lot of our sellers, Kamie, is the potential that after closing, you get to rent your house back for 60 days. And what we've been having a lot of luck with are our clients actually closing and getting to rent their house back for 60 days and with no charge. They're staying in their home free of charge for 60 days.
So the buyer's paying the mortgage and I get to live for free for 6 months?
We're negotiating that with clients. That just
Wow.
shows the strength of this very strong seller's market that should not be giving you pause to move forward and get your house on the market and go find your
Okay. I like that.
house.
Perfect. All right. Anybody else want to talk about the I don't have a place to go? Yeah, what was it?
Well, depending on where they live, obviously I'm in a way different market than Minneapolis, like rural, out past Elk-River. A lot of people are buying farm and land out there. Just a different perspective. I have a lot of people who will take a year. I don't want to sell my house. Where am I going to go? There's a lot of different creative ways you can tell your clients, and it depends on if they're that kind of a client. But Minnesota summers are wonderful. You just got 10 acres of land. Why don't you make a family adventure out of it and camp for 3 months while your new house is being built? If I do an extended close on your current house, that says that we can buy land and you get to get all your plans and we get all your construction mode and you rent back for 30 days until the sun is shining and you can take your camper to your property and your kids can really partake in the ability to build this new home, your new dream. Is that something, obviously you're pregnant, maybe you're not up for that.
Well, not actually, but
Right, so here to everybody here, situation, but there is a lot of different flexibility, or renting a cabin on a lake. Is there a family member you can go stay with?
Yeah.
Different options to make them feel more comfortable with. And again, I'm in a different dynamic. I have a lot of people who do literally move into a camper and build their house. I mean, that Minnesota summers are beautiful. They go to a seasonal campground where their kids have a pool and their house gets built and they end up saving a ton of money not paying a mortgage for 4 months.
awesome. Carrie.
So this low inventory is a huge opportunity for you to be superhero by going to find your client a home that they do want that's not on the market. So one of the benefits of working with us, Kamie, is we've had actually 3 clients in the last 3 months that we've gone out and door knocked, canvas areas via postcards and flyers, where we've been able to find them a property off market. And the fun part about that for us is this family is now, these 3 families are now in homes that they would have never ever come across unless they worked with us. So it's a huge opportunity for us to go proactively hunt down the house of your dreams on your behalf, because again, the inventory is so low.
So Perry, I mean, I've been looking at like 4 different streets that I just absolutely love. The trees are mature, the houses are beautiful. I mean, if something came up on the market on those 4 streets, like we would top of our budget. Is that something that you would do for us?
Tomorrow, let's do it.
Okay.
I would literally go door to door and I would say, hey, we have a buyer. And if you're comfortable, I would share, hey, they're having a baby. They got to find a place soon. Maybe you've been following the news and you know inventory is low. Is there a price in which you'd consider selling? And yeah, we would do it. We've done it 3 times in the last 3 months. If you want to talk to my clients that have benefited from that, I'd be happy to put you in touch.
I would love that. All right. Aaron? Do you have anything?
Honestly, on this one, I think they all cover this stuff.
Okay, awesome. So the next one is, it's gonna be about commission. Right, so we are ready, I'm excited, but, I mean, you know, who wants to go on this one now? Okay, so Aaron, I mean, I want to work with you. I love everything you said, but, you know, part of what you said is, I mean, inventory is low and things are just, I mean, going, right, on the market. People are knocking on my door saying they've got buyers, so I don't know, 6% is pretty steep.
Are we also buying a house together? Are we listing and buying?
Sure, yeah, we're listing and buying.
So in cases like that, Kamie, I always cut my sellers a deal with also buying. I do 2.8% on the list size, so it's 5.5 versus 6. I think it makes a lot of sense for both of us. Wait for me to say, hey, you your business, and it allows you to save money on a commission. You can probably save a different agent.
Yeah, so, I actually interviewed Michael Kaslow yesterday,
Ask.
and
You said you wanted to work with me.
And I do, I like you better than Michael, but, Michael said to do it for 5%.
No, I
We
didn't.
did. We didn't do it. That sounds like Michael Kaslow.
Lies. So Michael said he was gonna do it for 5%, and, you know, I do like your style, but he seems like a great agent too, and I just wanna be really honest with you.
So I think that who you work with matters, who buy matters. I think it's not just about saving $1 here, $1 there. It's about, you know, gives you the experience with. And if I really am your preference versus Michael, then I hope that a 0.5% in the grand scheme of things is a big deal, and that you can see the value that I bring and the vibe that we have and the experience that you'll have with me as a higher priority than.
Okay, can I jump in?
Go ahead, Dayna.
Hey, Kamie, I really appreciate that. I'm curious, when Michael offered you a lower commission, did you ask for that or did he offer that?
No, I kind of asked for it because, you know, it's one where I hear, you know, I mean, there's other places that I'll do it for 2% online, and who's that guy that says he'll, you know, pay something back, and 6% just seems really steep, you know, especially for the fact of, you know, you're going to help me sell and you're going to help me buy.
I totally appreciate that. And I'm curious, are you looking to put the most money in your pocket or to get a lower commission?
Could you repeat that question?
Are you looking to put the most money in your pocket to walk away with the most money? Or are you looking to lower your commission? Because those are really two different things.
I guess I'm really just looking for the net.
Fantastic. Then you want to be working with me. Getting your home sold is the easiest thing we can do. Getting it to closing is where we really earn our money. So when you're looking at somebody and whether they're saying they're lowering their commission or not, you want to make sure that they know what they're talking about. If you look at my list to sell price, I'm at about 99 to 103% of the list price to the sell price. And I would never say anything negatively about any other agent, but I did know you had interviewed Michael. And if I look at his list price to sale price, he's at about 97. So already working with me, you know you're going to get at least 3% more. Sorry, Michael, love you.
I'm seeing Aaron laugh over here. Michael's fuming. David on Zoom, so cannot be touched.
I can't be touched.
Numbers are made up.
Numbers are completely made up. Yes, I don't even know Michael. Hi, Michael. The other thing that really concerns me, did Michael fight for his commission? Or did he just say, yeah, I'll do it for 5%?
That's a great question. He didn't. I mean, he just kind of agreed, and it seemed fantastic.
Yeah, so that what really concerns me about that, if we're looking at 2 offers on your house, when I get offers on your home when you list with me, and I'm fighting to get you more money, but I don't fight for my own money. Do you see where the problem is there? If I'm just willing to give up my commission that I work so hard for, and somebody else is just willing to give it up, don't you know, if I'm fighting for my own money, I'm gonna even fight more for yours. So let's do the right thing and let's get this contract signed so I can start fighting for your money right now.
Okay, Dayna, I have heard that line so many times, but the way that your inflection, when you said that, was incredible. So I hope that this is recorded and we go back and we listen to how you just said that line. Because it made me, as a hearing it multiple times, think, it wasn't just like I'm fighting for your money. I feel like that was maybe a mic drop on that one.
I feel like Dayna is coming in like a surgeon with like knife, and just like all the points that we're not getting to in ours, she's just like finding them and then hammering us.
The best commission cut script I ever had was with a guy who was CFO of a major corporation in Minneapolis. And I'm thinking, why in the world does he want me to cut my commission? And I just said, no, any other questions? And he just went on. It just went on to the next thing. We signed the contract. I was dumbfounded because I've heard that script before and it worked. So I
That's
would
a great
start,
point. How many agents, I mean, how many of you have just said no and then just moved on and they signed?
I won't even have the conversation.
Okay,
Now, it doesn't work all the time, but I'm probably at about 20%. That my goal is to get a listing contract signed before we ever talk about commission. Because if somebody is only signing with me because of my commission, then do they really understand my value proposition? And if they don't understand my value proposition, are they going to be fighting me tooth and nail from the day that we start prep of their home all the way through closing? And not seeing me as the expert, not seeing me as their advocate. And so I think all of us should be working really hard to be thinking about how can we show our value proposition and get folks to sign with us before ever agreeing to a price and a commission.
ding, 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 that's the winner.
Yeah. Well, and I think I've felt in the past where I have to bring up commission and we need to talk about it. And I think to your point, 75% of the people don't care. They don't even bring it up. So sometimes I end up kicking myself because I bring it up and I probably should just not even go over.
And Aaron is our individual agent of the year at our KW Lakes office. So he's doing so much right. Where we differ is that just because someone is buying and selling does not mean that the value that I bring to them in selling their home deserves a discount. As a matter of fact, and if a client, no matter if they are a friend, if they're a past client, or if they're buying and selling, in order for them to have the best experience, and if both of our objectives is to get top dollar, and they understand the value that me and my team bring to this, then they're always going to ask. Everyone's going to ask. They're told to ask. Always ask for a reduction. And all you have to say is, can you tell me why that's important to you? And be ready to overcome any of those objections with your value proposition. And you're going to have a signed contract before you walk out.
Or reverse it on them. Ask them, if you went to work tomorrow and your boss said, I want you to do exactly what you're doing and then some, but I'm gonna give you a pay cut, how would that make you feel? Because that is what you're asking me to do. And if your husband's job is that important and he is worth that much in your mind, then why is the value that I bring you not worth that amount in your mind?
And I want to be clear that it is something I do for all of my my buy sells. I do offer them that. And sometimes I could have gotten away with just not offering it and kept my mouth shut and gotten 3.5%. But I think it's something that like I feel like I can't offer them, and it's no skin off my nose. And it's a bend, don't break thing. I am not continuing to slide down to like, okay, 2.5, okay, 2, okay, 1.7. It is like, that's the deal. That's the break I give people on a buy sell. And it's only on the buy sell. If it's just listing, it's got to be 3.3%.
Okay.
Hey, Aaron.
Yeah.
As a maps coach, old maps coach, I'd challenge you to add up all those 0.5% that you give away and see what you could have bought in the way of an investment property. That 0.5% that you're giving away without anybody asking.
I understand, and I have gone through and like added up money that I give it back to clients, just like to help make problems go away. The way that I justify that, this is just me personally. I'm not saying it's a strategy for everybody, but I have very low overhead as just solo agents, something I feel like I can afford to do. And two, I'm just very happy with the money that I'm making overall, and try not to sweat a little bit here, a little bit there, because not getting a listing is, like potentially $10,000 I'm never going to see, or even $25,000 on a buy sell for all the people that I would have met through them if I don't get that listing. And I just, that's my calculus. But Dayna, you're absolutely right.
And I'll say this too, when folks come to me and they want a commission reduction, and they are using the current market as the reason why they don't have to pay that. They're saying, well, you don't have, if you can really sell my house pre-market, then you don't have to have your cleaners come in and clean my house. You don't have to stage it. You don't have to photograph. And so this is going to save you a lot of money. So I shouldn't have to pay the same commission. And my rebuttal to that is that even in this very strong market, if people back out because they are they feel like they were rushed into something, they lose their job. There are things that happen that we can find ourselves very quickly back to square one. And an experienced, knowledgeable agent knows that we have to have everything ready to go, so that if we do encounter somebody cancel, we flip the switch, we're back on the market, and we're ready to go. An inexperienced market allows that to happen, and then all of a sudden we're under an incredible amount of stress because we haven't done anything to adequately prepare our clients into the market and be ready for that plan B.
Awesome. All right, next objection. I'd really like to just wait for the spring market. It's cold and nobody's looking. It's cold, I think it's coming up. We're just gonna wait.
Will I get more money?
You're not on the scripting panel, right? Love you, Dave. And who's got this one? Gary.
Amy, what about waiting is important?
It just gives us time to prep. I know that buyers, you always wait for the spring market. That's what the media says, right? Hot spring market. I just, again, I think people are just kind of hunkered down. I don't want to leave my house. I don't think anyone else does either.
Sure, I appreciate you thinking that, and historically, Kamie, that's true. Without question, I just heard a stat the other day that inventory in the Twin Cities right now is at the lowest point it's ever been, even lower than last year at this time, which is nuts. You probably see in the news that there is a chance that rates are going to continue to rise here in 2022. And so you probably, because you've been around Keller Williams before, you've probably heard that all work expands to the time allowed. So if you choose to act now and put your home on the market because of the factor of inventory being low, and there's a lot of active buyers out there, I'm willing to bet that we can get your home on the market pretty quickly, where you can benefit from this.
I agree.
Right now, you have literally no competition.
There you go.
You are the only house that is within a half-mile radius at your price point. And with that, gives you the opportunity to go on the market. I've come in and you've given me this list of all the things that you think you need to do to get your house prepared to go on the market. And yes, if you were competing with other sellers and other homes, we'd absolutely have to complete that list. Right now, because of the demand and because you are the only one here, you will be amazed at what buyers will say. We will do this ourselves. We just need a house. We're going to pay top dollar for it today. As a seller, would you not want to be in that situation rather than waiting until the spring when your neighbors' homes are going on the market and buyers are comparing your home to your neighbor's home, depending which one they want to pay top dollar?
So I don't have to do anything to my house and I can just sell it.
list of things that you've shown me are things that buyers are happy to do and still pay top dollar. Out of here, but the contract signed to work.
No, Michael, I might actually pay you 6%.
Actually 6.5.
Well, then I might go there. Dayna, did you have anything?
No, I was gonna go the same route Michael did, is do you want to be one of few or do you want to be one of many? And because as soon as we wait till spring, everybody else is putting their house on the market too. So wouldn't you rather be the only one to be chosen instead of many to choose from?
Awesome. Those were the main objections I had. Are you guys seeing other objections that I did not bring up right now in this market?
I think for right now, the main objections are, the main objections that I'm hearing from folks. The number one objection is, I don't know where I'm going to move. And that is scary. And it doesn't make any sense for me to put my home on the market. Even if you tell me that I can rent it back, even if you tell me that the buyers are going to be super flexible, I still don't have the confidence that I will find a home in the next 5 to 6 months without being forced into a home that isn't my dream come true. Then we start talking about the 85% home, which is a whole different scenario. That's.
So when they say that, right? So I'm scared that I won't be in my dream home, right? What do you say at that point? Like, I'm gonna just buy a house to buy a house because I'm going to be forced to 6 months down the road. What do you say at that point in time?
I say that I have never, ever sold a home to a buyer that bought their 100% dream home. If we can get out there, and especially in this market, find your 85% home. If we walk in and I want you to rate a home 0 to 100%, we can agree before we have to look at these homes. That if you find something 85% or higher, that's probably a home that you want to write an offer on. And then once you're in there and you're the homeowner, you'll make it that. So if you're limiting yourself by saying it needs to be that 100% dream home, yeah, we need to have a conversation about what that is. Because my objective is for us to find that 85% or higher. And if we've done that, we've done a really great job.
Michael, that's like a B, and I have always been an A+ student, at least an A student, so that really stresses me out.
I'm curious, is your husband 100% husband?
I'm single.
Single in.
It's weird.
Wow.
Oh, sorry.
I did buy a $1.4 million
If
house.
you can get agreement from your buyers before you ever go out into the neighborhoods and into the home, then you can have that conversation with them that they demand to find that A+ home, but you can actually have that really hard conversation with them before you ever go out and find a home. You're going to save yourself so many showings. You're going to save yourself so many tough conversations because you have an agreement that if they find that 85 and they can make it 100, you're good, and you give them permission to write an offer on the first home they see because you've done that hard work in your office or at your when you've had that buyer consultation with them, you've had those tough conversations and you get agreement from them. You'll get out there and this A+ person who's going to find this A+ home is going to agree that if you find them that 85% home, and even if it's the very first one they find, you have a much more increased possibility of them signing and being really, really happy than saying, let's go find your A+ 100%.
Well, and I think there's a great point to that, right? Because buyers come in thinking they need all of this, it needs to be perfect. So you're setting the expectation on the front end for them to know there's not a letdown. Aaron,
So the market right now is nuts for buyers. That's what I would tell it. The market right now is nuts for buyers. And for anybody that doesn't have, like family money to guarantee an appraisal or the risk tolerance to waive an inspection, the houses, the A+ houses that are just absolutely perfect, everything is done for you. Realistically, unless you have those things going for you, and even then, if you do, you're not guaranteed to get it. like you are likely going to just be one of many offers, one of many incredible offers. So strategically in a market like this, you should be looking for like a 90 or 85 house that has the fundamentals. And I teach my buyers what to look for, what really matters in a house, and what doesn't, to get right about the house, get those things in the house, and then do the other 15 or 10%. And Keller Williams has a new product that uniquely makes that possible. I know a lot of my buyers don't have a bunch of extra money laying around to make the house perfect. They have a ready to stay program, which allows you to get the house and then get that extra 10, 15% to make it 100% for you, make it an A+ house by having a contractor come through, figuring out what projects you want to do and letting them tackle it and getting the house where you want it to be, and just maybe targeting a price range that gives you the wiggle room so that altogether you're at a mortgage that you're happy.
Love that.
The other side of this, though, is that these folks that you're having your consultation with before you get them under contract, on average, your friends know 11 other people that are realtors. And those other 11 realtors are saying, I will find you the perfect house. There's no way in hell they're going to do it, but they're going to say it. So the eloquence of how you talk about this is critical, so that you're building that trust and you're building that reality for them. So that's a scripting.
That could be a whole nother scripting panel
It could
on
be a
how
whole
to
nother
set
script.
expectations for a buyer.
And adjacent to that, I think a lot of agents, Michael made a great point. They post house porn on social media, and it makes buyers say like, oh, I want that beautiful, pristine, perfect, on-trend kitchen, bath, living room, whatever. And that's not the reality of the houses in a lot of markets, unless you're buying new construction. That's a totally different story. But like for most houses, that's not what it looks like, and they're setting the wrong expectations. So if you can come in and be a truth teller and tell them like, hey, let's go out and see what's actually available, you can level all of that and get them in a much more realistic.
Awesome. All right. Anything else to add to that piece? All right, so we've got 10 minutes left. I want to open it up to those that are on Zoom or those that are in person for objections that you want to see them either handle or you've come across that you needed help with. Anybody? Dave has just been waiting.
I really like what you've said tonight. It's really great. I want to talk to a couple of other agents just so we can go due diligence, make sure we make the right choice.
I can totally appreciate that. Oh, sorry, Mike, go ahead.
No, go Dayna.
Was it Dave?
Yes, Dave.
Dave, I totally appreciate that. And I'm curious, what's important to you about talking to other agents?
Just want to make sure that I get all the research right and their marketing plan and just kind of how they approach it and how we kind of jive.
I really do appreciate that. And from everything I've shared with you tonight, I've gotten the impression that you feel like my marketing is fantastic, and actually we all have the same opportunity to look at all the same pricing. So there shouldn't be any different price when we're looking at. Am I on the right page that you feel really comfortable with me today?
You know, I was a little concerned about where the range that you would price our house at. I think I might be able to get more, and I'd just like to talk to some other agents, see if they're more in line with my expectations.
Okay, so what did you feel? Where do you think your house should be priced?
You know, I'm thinking it's judging by what's going on in our block. It's a very unique property. I'm thinking it could be more in the 4 to 425 range. You had talked about the 350 to 380 range.
Okay, I appreciate that. When we look at all our listing, when we look at all the listings that I showed you, let's go back and we can look at all those pictures again. So I'm just going to stop for 1 second because that's different than what we were originally talking about. He wanted to talk to other agents. So if we would just leave the price point out for a second, because that's a whole nother script. But if we were talking about, we want to talk to other agents, I would go down the route of, a lot of people when I get to this point are just uncomfortable calling the agent to tell them that you wanted to list with me tonight. So I can do this for you. I've done it for other people. I'm happy to call the other agents, offer them half the commission if they will bring a buyer in and tell them that you've already chosen to work with me. Would it be uncomfortable for you to call them, and would it be better for me to take care of that right now?
No, I'm okay making that call.
I couldn't hear you.
I'm okay making that call. You don't have to call.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay.
So other than the price, is there anything else that would cause you not to list your home with me tonight?
No, I don't think so, Dana.
Okay, so let's go back and look at the comps again. And maybe there's something I missed. When you said, talk about the houses in the neighborhood, which home particularly did you think was most representative of what your home should be priced at?
Well, the homes around our house, I know that they are bigger, but they're much more, they're all very expensive, and we're really in the exclusive kind of part of town. And I think that's going to affect my house, even though the comps that we looked at are very, very much under what I think we're gonna get for our house, just because ours is in such great shape.
Get a listing appointment outside of Morningside.
Sorry.
It's okay, we don't have to keep going down.
I feel like that sounds
I
like
agree,
everyone.
you should interview some other agents. As long as they don't discount.
I love it.
Yeah,
Anybody else, for any objections that they want to see them, talk through or handle, or just questions in general for them?
I just want to hear Dayna answer questions because she's a killer.
I'm just the oldest one here. Been doing it longer.
My brother-in-law is a new agent, and I really want to support him.
Ooh, so if you didn't hear that, my brother-in-law is a new agent and I really want to support him.
Rachel, thank you for bringing that up, and I agree, and I appreciate the loyalty about wanting to support your family. That's huge, and in my experience, and again, before I talk about this, why is that important to you? Why is it important that you are the one that helps support?
I think it could make Christmas really awkward here.
Yeah, and I hear that, and I am working with people right now that have been in the same position as you. And what we came to agree is that this is really a time, there's a lot of ways that you can support your family members. But this is a time for you to be selfish. This is a time for you to do what is most important to you. And sometimes that involves us having some pretty in-depth confidential conversations that might be very difficult for you to have with a family member. And in this very competitive market where we need to pull all the stops in order for you to win, there might be some conversations that you choose not to have with a family member that you would have with me that would make it difficult for you to win in this market. Do you agree?
Sort of, we're pretty close, so I'm not uncomfortable sharing financials or anything.
And it could be more than financial. It could be, and here's the other thing. And I will do what I can to help support your family members' business as well. I do a lot of networking with a lot of new agents to help them build their business. I think that's important. But in this market, Rachel, do you agree that you are going to have more success working with a full-time realtor that has a lot of experience and knowledge in the neighborhood where you want to live, as opposed to someone who's kind of still getting their footings and trying to figure that out?
The market's so hot that it maybe doesn't really matter.
It's actually, it matters more than ever, right? For you to be working with a knowledgeable, experienced realtor.
May I explain?
It's happened in the office.
And I would,
Hire him.
and you know what, Rachel, I call agents a lot, and I say, you know what, I'm calling because Rachel, you're Rachel's cousin, what was that? Brother. Yeah, brother-in-law. I'm calling because Rachel wanted me to let you know that she's out looking for a home. We've decided to partner together, and I want to know, I want you to be part of this. Do you have any listings right now, or do you know of anything out there that I could bring Rachel into so that we could do this together?
I don't really have a brother-in-law. You just drew us here.
And I think,
I love it.
imagine the awkwardness of every Christmas moving forward if it doesn't go well.
There you go.
Yes, thank you,
Yeah.
Gary. I was like, Kamie.
How would you like to fire your cousin?
Yeah. How would you like to fire your brother-in-law?
So I would also say that, like, if I'm in that situation and they bring that up, I would say I would push on the fact that I'm even there. Because if it was a foregone conclusion that you were working with your like brother or brother-in-law, then you would just work with them, but you are talking to other agents because there's something there. You maybe don't really trust them to handle it, or you're worried about it going poorly. And if I was in that situation as an agent, I would just ask them about that and say, like, is there any concern that they wouldn't be there for you? They wouldn't do as good a job as somebody else or a more seasoned professional would, and then just talk through that and try to get them that way.
You could also go down the route of, if your cousin is brand new, I'm one of the top agents in this area, I would love to help him get better at his skills. So why don't we do this? Why don't I reach out to your cousin, tell him that you're going to be working with me and offer him the opportunity for me to train him through this entire transaction. He will come out so far ahead and be prepared to be one of the best agents out there. And maybe I can talk to him about Keller Williams and the wonderful way that he can join our company and be one of the top agents too.
Karen
would love that.
with you, Dayna. All right, anybody else have any other questions, any other objections that have come up lately in the last 2 minutes that we have? Anybody on Zoom have any questions?
Why don't I just sell it myself? These
Oh,
things are flying off the shelf so fast. Why do I even really need you?
Anybody?
Are you getting that now? I'm not listening anymore, so I don't know. Is that something you're hearing now?
It's either that or why would I pay you for the 2 seconds of work you're gonna do, Tom?
Okay.
That one. And I just say, well, what experience do you have with legal contracts, legal real estate contracts? Can you explain your experience with that contract and how that's going to look for that contract to be written and for you to negotiate through that contract? And you do know that it's not 2 seconds of work, that I have to sell your house multiple times to get it to closing. Not only do I have to send it to the buyers, but probably to the home inspector and to the appraiser. And I'm going to work really hard to make sure that if there is a difference in that appraisal, that we can cover that gap together as a team. And how are you going to get yourself to closing? Do you know a closing company or a title company that you would have a relationship with that you're comfortable with working? So even though you want to sell it yourself, or you think I'm only going to do about 2 seconds of work, there's a whole lot more that goes into these legal binding contracts that I would love to be able to advise you on.
I'd also say, okay, so Mr. Seller, you're moving to Florida, and I know you're working with a realtor down there, and you think that you want to sell your home for sale by owner here. Out of curiosity, working with your realtor down in Florida, how many for sale by owner properties have you guys seen together? The answer is usually 0. And then talk about how they can expect the same experience.
I think Dayna, I love that one. I've never actually heard that one. And I like it. Going back to net, I think a lot of times it's to save money, right? If you go back to what's more important, that same objection that you had previously would be a good one for that as well.
And also, I've said it before, but putting your house on the market and getting an offer is the easiest thing that I do. Getting you to closing is where we earn our money. Because I forgot this gal's name that was from above Elk River, our female scripter there.
Sara.
Yeah, there's so much more that goes into this than just simply getting an offer.
What if they get multiple? What's your plan what's your plan if you get 10 offers? How do you manage, negotiate, handle that?
How do you know you're picking the best offer out of those 10 to understand those terms of that contract?
Awesome. Well, I want to be conscious of everyone's time. Thank you to all of the speakers. Thanks to everyone on Zoom and everyone in person. It is recorded, so we can shoot that out to you guys as well. Have a great